All right, it's recording. All right, hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Team Set It Off call. I'm really happy that you guys, for those of you that are watching this live, I'm happy that you're here because I started this last week and there was no one on the call. So I'm very happy that everyone showed up and made this, a priority. And I promise, I hope that I can deliver some really good content from the stuff that I learned this weekend and just things that have been happening in my own coaching business that I really am very excited to share with you. So, and I know that, some of you are really just going for it and I love it. So we're really going to capitalize on that. So let me turn this into screen share. And if you're just hopping on the call, make sure that you mute yourself or I will find you and I will mute you. Okay. So screen share. Okay, here it is. Oh God, you're in my Facebook now. Hold on. Okay. Oh no. Okay. All right. Okay, so hopefully this just looks like a presentation. You can only hear my voice and not see my face. Okay, so this is the Team Set It Off call for September 22nd, 2015. And the topic today, so we have a series kind of going that's back to basics. And so last week I talked about discovering your why or recommitting to your why. And when I archived this call, it's in the file section of our team page. So you can definitely go back and watch that one. But I'm really going to try my best to keep these short and sweet. So I'm not going to talk any more about that. So this week's topic is about inviting. And something that I hear a lot with the coaching opportunity in the coaching business is that, people are really shied away from it because they don't want to do sales. In fact, they think they suck at sales. And so I'm going to give us a different perspective on finding your passion to invite and not look at it as sales, as rather as sharing your own personal journey and your experiences and helping other people, get started in theirs, which is, I really hope if you're on this call and that's not the reason for the season, that you want to help other people live healthier, more happier, fulfilling lives, y'all need to hop off this call. No, but for real though. So that's the reason for the season. So let's start off with some recognition. So from a business standpoint, we have Success Club, and Crystal has been sitting pretty at Success Club 8 all this month. I think she literally hit it like in the first week. And if you, and I'm just going to throw her out there. So Crystal, if you don't want to be thrown out there, you just let us know. But she's somebody that has consistently for the last 4 months, 3-4 months, has hit Success Club, which means, every Success Club point she has, like every 2 is typically 1 person. So she's consistently helping, she's been helping like at least 5 every month. And so she's helped 4 already this month. So I have to asterisk mine because I was at 6 when I made this slideshow 2 hours ago. I'm now at 10. So I'm really excited, and I had some personal goals that I wanted to accomplish this week. So I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but I'm there. Jamie's at 2. Ayana's at 2, which is so exciting. I love when I see Ayana or Kristen have Success Club, just because they are all up on social media all the time. And then Malik, your son, which is, I'm quoting it as Jamie's second business center, is at Success Club too. So congratulations to all of you that are, getting Success Club points. It means that you're moving your business forward. And most importantly, it means that you are really putting yourself out there and not letting fear dictate the way that you're going to operate, that you want to help people. And we know what we have works. And so we're going to definitely speak on that. So congratulations. Yay. And then shout outs that I just want to give because, it's not, Success Club is definitely it is the benchmarker of your business if you're moving it forward or not. But stuff that's really important to me too, even when people become coaches on our team, sometimes at a master trainer camp, my boss, Barb, talked about the seasons in our life, and we all go through seasons, or some people call it valleys and peaks. And so some of us go through really great seasons where everything's aligning, we're comfortable, you're great, you feel truly blessed, everything's falling into place, right? And then you have seasons that you're just like, you're going through the motions and nothing bad's happening, it's good. And then you have seasons that are extremely difficult. I can't tell you how many people personally I've been in contact with that have like lost a family member or lost a friend this month, or, had some devastating health news, or, so we all go through different seasons, and, that definitely plays a part into our business. I truly believe. And so I want to take some time to recognize and shout out the people that are moving forward in their own right. So in my current challenge group that I have, and, I'll have to consult my diamond in training, Jamie, to see what her coaches are doing. But for me personally, Samantha, Harley, and Kayla, and Jasmine, DJ Jazzy Jazz, they four in my challenge group, and they are putting forth the effort to better themselves, because sometimes you just have to go back to step one and get in control of your own health and fitness, before you can go out and help other people. So, especially Samantha has been like really, really on it. And then, Kayla's got a new job, so she's, doing as much as she can, posting her Shaco selfies. Harley and Jasmine have, they've been in communication with me, and I just really appreciate that, because, I love you all. You're all coaches on my team for a reason. It's because I like you. Kelly is not in the challenge group, but Kelly and I talk all the time, bounce ideas off of each other. So she's somebody that I know is going through a difficult season right now, and she's doing she's doing what she can and keeping her spirits up. So I just wanted to shout her out. And then of course I've got to shout Jamie out, because if you guys don't know, Jamie is gunning for diamond. She is literally one coach away from hitting diamond, and she still wants to hit Success Club 2. Success Club 5. She's at Success Club 2. You know what I mean? So anyway, so give it up for everybody on our team, and even people, maybe you're watching this replay and I didn't shout you out at all. If you have a podcast app, if you listen to podcasts, I highly recommend going to Chalene Johnson's Build Your Tribe and listening to her most recent one, where I think the title is What No One Tells You About Getting Discovered. And I'll be talking a little bit about what she said in that, because she actually said it in the lecture that she kind of gave us. But the thing is that we root for the people that show up and that invest in us. And so as much as I want to love on every single person on our team, you guys, I can't be there for you if you don't reach out for me, so just know that there's so much love on our team, and that was a really long recognition. So let's just cut to the chase and get to the content. Okay. So let's talk about it. So, we're going to start off first with just talking about the misconceptions with Beachbody and sales, because I'm sure a lot of you get that objection when you're trying to get people to become coaches with you, or you tell somebody about it that's got a sour taste in their mouth with multi-level marketing like Advocare, like Miriam or Mary Kay, or the makeup people or whatever, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of multi-level marketing companies out there. And if somebody has one bad experience, they just kind of chalk it up and think that all of them are bad. So I want us as a team to just come together as a base unit and understand, okay, what are the misconceptions? What are the myths? What are the objections that we hear? And what are we truly in the business of? So I gave the definition for sales just in case you didn't know the definition of sales. I geek out like that sometimes. I'm like, sometimes I just need to look up what a word means. But sales, I looked it up on dictionary.com. You could Google check that one. But it's the exchange of a commodity for money, the action of selling something. So with Beachbody, what do we sell? We sell fitness programs. We sell nutrition. So we have Shakeology. We have the performance line. We've got the Shakeology Boost. They still sell the P90X bars, which, by the way, they gave us at the Master Trainer Retreat, and it was like a Snickers. I'm not even joking. I was like, ooh, this is really good. But, you know, we have a plethora of products and proven systems that we sell. And it was really cool because the CEO of Beachbody, Carl Deichler, he actually like flew in from LA to come talk to us for like half an hour and then like flew back to LA. But he kind of gave us the synopsis of the way the coaching network started with Beachbody, because, you know, the coaching network hasn't been around for very long. I think it's been around since, Jamie can correct me a little bit later, but I'm just going to ballpark it like 2007, 2008, like around that time, 2006 maybe, because Beachbody started off as just an infomercial company. And so they, you know, P90 and Slim and Six and all of those, and then P90X, of course, all came out, and they were infomercials because that was the big business and marketing for, you know, their products. And then they realized that people were buying the products, but they weren't using them. And they looked on their message boards, and there's these people that were just helping each other through the journey, through the process. You know, hey, what's some good food choices? Hey, you know, like I can't do a pull-up yet. Like, what do I do? And just staying accountable to one another. And Carl saw this amazing opportunity that they could grow Beachbody by rewarding the people that were doing the programs and then telling their friends and family or, you know, whoever about it, and then helping them through that process. And so what we do legitimately, and I'm not saying, because I've never faced this objection, but you might face this objection depending on the type of people you talk to. But oftentimes you'll hear people say that like, oh, is that a pyramid scheme? You know, I because I have not faced that objection, I don't really have like a smooth as butter answer for it. But, you know, Beachbody was a company that had products before the coaching opportunity, before the multi-level marketing aspect came into play. So not really a pyramid scheme, because pyramid schemes are illegal and usually you're not really selling anything. So, so this is what are the objections? Like when you think about sales, why does it feel icky? I wrote that down. Like why do people think it feels icky? And I wrote down some things that came to my mind, and you can think about it as I talk. Oh, okay. So sales. When I think of sales, and this is what I thought when I first joined, it's very pushy. And like I said, icky. It feels icky, spammy, insincere, not genuine, you know, and if you haven't, but most of us have probably gotten those messages from your friends or your family, maybe at some point in your life that was like, I just started this business and it would mean a lot to me for your support. And here, buy this mascara, like, you know, or buy this candle. And you're kind of like, okay, like, especially I have it happen all the time, but, you know, somebody that you haven't talked to, like it's somebody you went to high school with and you weren't even friends, and you're like, you see it like there's like this, like it's a novel in your inbox, like delete, like I don't even read it. I'm just like, as soon as I hear this, I started a business, I'm like, I don't care. Right? So those are the things that make it feel icky. And with this opportunity, the truth, so I wrote on the third point, the truth is that if you are living your truth, if you are living vital behavior number 2, which is, and this is where I'm imagining you're saying it out loud because it's a no-brainer, but in case you need a refresher, vital behavior number 2 of being a Beachbody coach is being proof the products work. If you are doing your workouts, if you're trying to eat better, if you're drinking your Shakeology every day, if you're making health a priority in your life, there is nothing icky about sharing that with other people. And something that I've heard before, it's like when you try a new restaurant, or you go to a place that's really fun, like you vacation somewhere and it's really awesome, or there's a new store in town or a product that you really love, what do you do? Or a movie, you go and see a movie. Straight Outta Compton was the last one I saw, because I don't go watch movies, but I couldn't stop talking about it. But you know, when you like something, you genuinely, authentically share it with people that you love and care about. You know, you might even just post it on social media. You know, just think about before you were a coach, and like the things that, you know, if you found a good product, would you recommend it to your friends and family? So I think of Beachbody, you know, with all these misconceptions of it, it will only feel icky if you are not living your truth. And that's why I had a very shitty August, because I was not living my truth. I was eating terrible. I wasn't really working out. I was drinking all the time. I was just like living this double life and pretending like I was being healthy. And like, really, I lost my weight back in July when I was in Washington, because like all I did was drink whiskey and like I didn't eat. That's not good, right? So, and that's why I gained all my weight. And I'm just being honest and real with you guys, because I haven't told that to anybody up until this point. But, you know, you can only fake the funk for so long. Because if you're trying to tell people to do something that you're not doing, how does that make you feel? You're a hypocrite, right? You don't feel right about it. So if you are not on Shakeology Home Direct and you're trying to convince someone else to do it, why would they do it? That is the only time that you are allowed to feel icky about, quote unquote, pushing Beachbody. You know, like, look at someone like, if you're not Facebook friends with Crystal Alexander, that's Jamie's coach, be friends with her on Facebook and just watch her ooze out that it's like nothing compares to something when you're first doing it for the first time. The novelty. She's in the beginnings of her fitness journey. Like, homegirl's lost like 13 pounds and like numerous inches, and she keeps like, I saw her dance video tonight. She looking right. Like, I can just see it oozing from her. And you go look at her comments on there, you know, like her friends and her family are like, oh man, like you look like you're really having fun. You know, when you're genuinely excited about something, it just comes across, and people can tell. People can tell when you're not authentic. So this moves me on to be able to share with you guys the knowledge and wisdom that Miss Chalene Johnson, oh yeah, that's me and Chalene Johnson. Look how tiny she is, and why is my head so huge? I'm kidding. Okay, so I guess I should back this up in case you didn't know. So y'all know that I'm a master trainer. I train people in Turbo Kick, PiYo, Insanity, Size, all those formats. And Turbo Kick is like Turbo Fire, in case you're like, what the heck is Turbo Kick? But y'all should be familiar with the rest of the ones that I said: PiYo, Insanity, and Size. So because I've been a master trainer for 5 years, we were invited to a retreat this past weekend where we had guest speakers. Like I said, Carl was there. We had team builders, and then we got surprised by the one and only Chalene Johnson on Sunday. She came in, did a PiYo workout with us, and then she gave us like a 45-minute lecture. And so I'm going to kind of give you a brief overview of what she talked about, because she was supposed to be talking to us about master training. And she really started talking about us like with coaching and owning our own businesses, because, you know, that's her line of work now. But it was really funny because she kept saying, and I was like looking at my boss, because she kept saying like, you know, in 5 years or 10 years, you're not going to be doing this, right? Like, I was laughing because there's some people that have been master trainers for like, you know, 15 years. So anyways, what the heck? Oh, I'm looking at other notes. Sorry, my bad. Okay, so I have my bullet points, but then I have like my really, really messy notes. Okay. So this is, I'm going to try to not be all over the place. Okay. So when Chalene started her talk, you know, she said, she's like, I'm not in the business of sales. I'm in the business of relationships. She goes, it doesn't matter what my business is. It could be fitness. I could be selling cars. I could, you know, have a personal training business. I could be working, you know, as like an AT&T sales rep. Like whatever she does, She knows that it's not about sales, it's about relationships. And your success will only come from other people. And so if you've been looking for some personal development, it's time to get on that train of like how to win friends and influence people. Learn about how to be a better communicator. Learn about how to have stronger relationships, because that, it goes hand in hand. It goes hand in hand. And I'll tell you a little bit about my experience that I'm having right now with that. It doesn't matter about how much you know. It doesn't matter what your body looks like. It doesn't matter your, your education or your status or whatever. None of those things are relative. People, they want to know how much you care about them. And so what builds relationships is time, authenticity, integrity, and trust. Like, people have a conditioned response to you, whether you realize it or not. She gave this analogy of the Pavlov, I can't say it, Pavlov dogs or whatever. You know, the one with the ringing the bell, and then you feed the dog like a treat. And so every time he kept doing that, conditioned it. So every time he rang a bell, the dogs would start salivating because they thought they were getting a treat. The same thing is true with the way that we've been treating people. Now, the good news is you can always turn a new leaf. You can always turn a new page, because I will admit I'm the first one that I really suck at this. I really suck at follow-ups. I'm terrible at commenting to other people, when they leave a comment on like my Facebook or send me a text, or, I'm like the worst with that. But and that's why I think I was having a lot of trouble, is because people had this conditioned response to me that Jen she'll say, hey, how are you doing? And then 3 years later, we'll, try to say something else. Like, there'll be too much time in between, versus someone like Jamie. I'm sure a lot of Jamie's coaches and customers and people that know and love her, she has given us a conditioned response that if you send something to Jamie, it's going to be responded to like ASAP. Of course, I think I sent her a message at 12 a.m. last night. So obviously she didn't get back to me, but she sent me a message back at 6 a.m. So she's somebody that just, boom, I always know that I can count on her to message me back ASAP. So you have to think, what have you conditioned people to think of you? Because that matters. That totally matters, and how you treat people. It's not about your importance. It's never about you. Yes, we have these ranks, like Jamie's going for diamond. I have this big, scary, hairy goal of going for 2-star, to qualify for something, by November. And I had this goal of I had a financial goal this week for Beachbody, a certain number I wanted to hit for this upcoming paycheck. And that's all great and dandy. You need to have tangible goals, and those feel really good when you hit them. But it's not about that, right? It's not about, you would be nothing without people. I wouldn't be where I'm at right now without any of you. Every single one of you on the team, whether you're on this call live or you're watching this as a replay, you are so important. You are so important. The person that will never probably watch this, but we watched this thing, and I'll have to send you guys the link, but we watched this TED Talks. It's like a 3-minute thing of the lonely dancing man, the first follower, or they used to call it the lone nut. But it's this video of this guy dancing, and he's by himself, and he's dancing, and he looks like a crazy person, right? But it isn't until another person joins this crazy person and starts dancing with them as well, that other people around them are watching these two, and they're kind of like, oh, okay. That guy is the first follower. You are never a leader until you have your first follower. And that person is the most intricate person to your success. The first person to follow you and believe in you, because soon enough, there's the two of them, they're dancing, and then all of a sudden, people are watching, and then a couple more people join in, and then a couple more people join in. And by the end of it, you are pretty much the outcast if you weren't dancing crazy with all these people in this TED Talk video.
And that's the idea behind it, is that now you have a movement, right? The more people you get, it's a movement. Like people flock to it, because it's almost like you're missing out on something if you're not a part of what everyone else is doing. I call it mob mentality. I've seen like a prank where like a person, like they pranked people that were walking down the street, like in an alleyway, and then they had like a group of people scream and run by them. Like, what's the natural response for the person walking in the alleyway by themselves if they see a bunch of people screaming and running? You're probably going to scream and run with them too, right? Versus if you were in the alley and there was just one person screaming and running, you'd kind of be like, what in that? Oh, okay, that's weird. So Aspen was one of my first coaches. I mean, she stayed a coach with me when I wasn't doing diddly squat with it. So, you know, there's really power behind it. I mean, you have to bless and release, of course. If someone doesn't want to do this business as much as you want them to, you've got to just bless and release them. And, you know, if Aspen ever came back to me and was like, I'm ready, I'm going to do this, let's get an action plan, I will do what you say, like, I'm there with her. But I just want you to remember that for those of you that maybe only have like one coach or two coaches, or you have no coaches at all underneath you. When you get that first person to buy a challenge pack, when you get that first person to have that belief that they can do what you do, you've got to treat that person like gold. And so what I want you to start thinking about with our opportunity is that we don't sell products. We sell possibility and belief. And I'm just going to dot that one. Possibility and belief in what? You know, every time I fill my cup up and I listen to a national wake-up call, I, listen to another coach's webinar or hear somebody's success story. Every time I go to Super Saturday, I literally think I have superpowers. Like, after I leave, I like fly to my car. It's amazing. Like, you just get, my belief grows so much every time I see someone else doing something that I want to do. And so the more and more that you realize what you are doing is important and you are enough right now in this moment. And the things that you've gone through and the experiences that you have and all the knowledge and all the wisdom, someone is looking for that. Someone's praying for your situation right now. Someone wants to be where you're at. And so understanding and realizing that and accepting that, and definitely accepting that you're enough, and understanding that you give people hope. You give people the belief that, like, hey, you know, if Jay can lose almost 100 pounds, I can lose 100 pounds too. You know, like, and just sharing that and being open with that and looking at that you are selling that and not just, oh, here's Shakeology, it's $130. I know it's kind of expensive, isn't it? But it, you know, it's like good and stuff, and it like helps you lose weight, I think. And yeah, like, right? Like, that doesn't, no, people don't care about that. And when your perspective changes, you will treat people and you will present the things that you are doing in a different light. Something that she did say that made us all laugh. She was like, the riches are in the niches, bitches. So you've got to identify who you want to help. Who's going to be the ones that you're speaking to? For me personally, like, the people that Jamie helps or Crystal helps or, you know, whoever, are going to be totally different than the people I help, right? Like, when I share my story, I talk to old Jen. I talk to my old self, you know? And so those are the people that I look after. Yeah, I get moms, and yeah, I get, you know, people that are older than me, whatever. It's cool. It's not, you know, I don't really care about people's conditions. I care about their heart and where they're at. And so that's my niche, are the people that struggle with insecurity, that struggle with binge eating, that struggle with liking themselves, that, you know, that's my niche. I found, you know, over the years. And that's why, you know, I share my story and I keep sharing it, because it's like a commercial, you know what I mean? Or it's like when you watch the news, not everyone, that's why the news airs the same story like 3 times, which, by the way, you should not be watching the news. But anyways, I'm just saying, right? When you watch the news or you watch a football game, they constantly repeat the same stuff over and over again because they just don't know who their audience is. It's very foolish of me and selfish to think that, you know, people like, you know, we think that the world revolves around us, right? Like we think that if we post something once that like everybody's going to remember that. They don't care. They're not remembering that. So that's why you have to constantly speak your truth over and over again. Something that Chalene said is that when people trust you, they want you to tell them what to do. So there might be some of you out there that people are like hanging on to your every word. They want to know what you're doing, you know? And what ends up happening is that we get so afraid of seeming salesy and pushy and money hungry or whatever. Like we're going to be not genuine because we're asking someone to invest a very minimal amount of money so that they can get something that money can't buy, right? Like you can't buy happiness. You can't buy confidence. I mean, you could get, you know, surgery and stuff like that, but like you can't buy true, real happiness. And that's what you are giving the opportunity to people. So I want you to remember that there are probably people in your life that trust you. They trust you so much. And it's like for me sometimes too, that's why I trust Beachbody, because I'm like, I don't want to think about what to make. I'm just going to do what the program says, you know, or, you know, they're like when you go shopping for something, like sometimes I'm at a restaurant and I'm just like, what's the best thing on this menu? Like you should know. Or like if you're shopping for a phone and you're like, well, what makes this phone better and makes that phone better? And they're like, you know, this one does that and which one, this one does that. And it's like, no, which one's better? Just tell me, like, you're the expert. This is the one that if you're a lady, this is the one you might relate to. When you ask your homegirl, hey, what outfit looks better on me? Oh, they both look cute. Really? No. If they both look cute, then I ain't wearing either one of them. You got to tell me which one looks better on me, right? So just think about that when you're afraid to, I do this in air quotations like you can see me, but when you're trying to close the deal or get them to commit to their investment. So let's talk about objections. When people have objections, so what are the objections that you get when you're trying to get someone to join your challenge group? Time, right? This isn't the right time. Definitely money, right? Man, that's really expensive. I don't know. I can't afford that right now. Or, I'm not ready. I'm not ready yet. Like, oh, you know, I got this, you know, event coming up, or, you know, I'm gonna be traveling, or, you know, oh, just let me know when the next one is. Really, all objections are, and she talked about this concept of fear and shame. So we will do anything to not feel bad, right? We will do anything to not feel shame. And so when people give you objections, it's because they don't have the belief or the possibility that they can succeed with whatever you guys have talked about. So if it's with coaching, they fear, what if I don't do good with this? What if people don't buy things from me? What if I can't run a challenge group? What if I fall off my own fitness and I don't look like somebody that people, you know, would flock to, you know? So it all goes back to shame, right? Like, and so if that happens, then what are they going to feel? They're going to feel bad. They're going to feel ashamed of themselves. They're going to feel ashamed to let their sponsor coach down. You know, same thing with challengers when they have those objections. You know, when someone objects and doesn't want to commit to an investment, even after you've gone deep with them, really what they're telling you is that, like, they don't believe in themselves, that they can truly eat clean, do a workout, and lose weight, you know, because it's more than that. Weight loss is weight loss, yo. Like, we all want to look better, right? But we all have our own deeper reasonings behind that. It's more than just fitting into a skinny pair of jeans. It's the way you feel. It's the way you handle yourself. You know, I will tell you that by me not drinking, it's not just because, you know, oh, like, it's good for my health and stuff, which is very important, but it makes me, having that discipline does something to you. When I first found Beachbody, I did Chalene Extreme, and I was very disciplined, and I never missed a workout, and I saw my body to change. That I can't even, it's like when a a caterpillar becomes a butterfly, and you just knew you always wanted to be a butterfly, and you just kept holding yourself back. And then when you finally blossomed and you got your wings, it was like, you can't invent a drug that could ever touch that feeling of just pure confidence and happiness, and just feeling like you're enough and feeling unstoppable. And so, tied with those objections, I mean, the part that you're going to have to, because it's okay. Not everybody says yes. I mean, most people don't say yes the first time around. You've got to check in with them. And I posted that girl's comment, the message she sent me that she wanted to be a coach. I've actually had 2 people do that to me this week that are like, you're going to be my coach. And I'm like, oh my God, okay. Like, and it's people, and it's because when I check in with people, I'm not like, hey, you ready to buy a challenge pack now? I just say, hey, how's it going? Or I reflect on something that we had talked about earlier. Oh, hey, how's the job going? Or, oh, looks like you got married. Like, what did you guys do? What have you been doing this summer? Like, you just take an interest with people and you go deep with people and you create real connections, because the scripts that we have for inviting, are very bone basic. And then they're like, it's very vague, isn't it? It's like, once you hear why they're interested, go deeper in their why. Well, what the heck does that mean, right? What does that mean? And I'm finding my own groove with this, but what's been working for me lately, and I'd love to hear the input from the other ladies a little bit later on as far as what you do to help go deep with people, is I scratch below the surface. And I even say that to them. I'm like, it's very important to me that the people that I work with get results. And I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time. And I want to know, okay, you want to lose weight? Why? Why do you want to lose weight? Why is that important to you right now? Tell me more about that. And they'll tell you a little bit more about it. And then just inquire, just be like, how does that make you feel when you feel like you can't wear whatever you want, or that you don't like your reflection, or that you can't stand a picture of yourself, and just go and ask them, I straight up ask them. I'm like, it's like an iceberg. When you tell me the initial interest, I'm really concerned about what's underneath all that, like what's going on with you, and it allows them, because some people are going to be very candid and open, and then some people are going to give you like 1-word answers, right? So you have to choose to go deep with people, and not just wide, and not just because it'll work because trust me, I've hit Success Club 36, which it's a lot, but it's not the most ever. But it's because, people were like, oh, I want to, I think I want to join your challenge group, and ask them maybe like 2 or 3 questions. Okay, cool. All right, cool. Let's get on the phone. All right. Okay. This is the program. This is what you're going to get. Are you in? Are you out? Okay. You're in. Cool. Awesome. And so I went really, really, really wide, right? And it's not bad to help a lot of people, but you will notice in a few months, if you don't go deep with those people and establish a deep connection and let them know that you care, they're going to disappear. And it's happened to me multiple times. People want to know that they matter, right? Just think about why you joined the coaching opportunity, or, joined a challenge group, depending on who brought you in. It's probably because we took an interest, we wanted to know more about you, and that's something that doesn't come, if for those of you that might be like me, socially awkward, it's very hard for me to, like, when I meet someone new, I'm like, oh my God, what do we talk about? When really, if I change my perspective and I get into their heart and I get into my heart and think about, everyone's got such a story, right? Like, talk to an 18-year-old or talk to a 16-year-old, and they're gonna pretend like they've like experienced it all, right? Like, if you're a baby, you haven't experienced anything. So imagine when you talk to a woman in her 30s, dude, she's gone through hell and back probably. She's experienced a ton of things. You have so much to talk about. And that's why they say use that form criteria. If you don't know what to talk about, ask them about their family, ask them about their kids, how long have they been married, or where do they live, where do they grow up, occupation, what do they do for work, how long have they been doing that, what does it really mean, what is their day-to-day like, Do they like their job? Where do they see themselves? Talk about recreation. What do they like to do for fun? Ask them more about it. If they like to knit, oh my gosh, how long have you been knitting? What do you normally knit? Like, what would you tell somebody that was beginning to knit? Like pretend, if it interests you, I was about to say, pretend to be interested in what they're interested in. If it interests you, ask more questions, go deeper, and and then M is, oh, sorry, Samantha was texting me. So M's for a message. So once you get to know people, then you can deliver your message. Then you can be like, hey girl, I was really thinking of you, and or you can, before you even say your message, sometimes I ask them like, hey, how's your health and fitness going? Are you working out? Like, what are you doing to stay active? And dive into that. So then that can segue me into me asking them, hey, oh man, I was really thinking about you because of the conversation that we had, and reference some things you guys talked about. And, I have this upcoming whatever group. Mine is like the 21-day Hot for Halloween boot camp group. I know, very vain, right? And I would really love to have you a part of it. Have you ever considered, being a part of a fitness challenge group? Simple, easy, right? They can either say yes, they can say no, they can say maybe, they can ignore you. Like, it's not like they're, you're going to die if you ask them that. So definitely just realizing that you're enough, and understanding and remembering. I think the thing, oh yeah, because Shalene made me cry because she's really good at doing that. But the thing that she talked about specifically for us fitness instructors, but I think you can take something away from this as well, is she talked about, she was like, okay, think about the person that you're trying to attract. Who are they? And most of us were like, oh, we look for the front row divas and the people that are outgoing and the people that show up and the people that can't stop talking about it, and blah, 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 blah. And then she's like, how to start talking about our back row people. And, she's like, you've got to look for the surprises. She's like, have you ever had a surprise trainee before? And of course, we all had. I'm the surprise trainee, you guys. I was Kyung's daughter forever. I was like, I never screamed. I never yelled. I kept to myself. I didn't really talk to anybody. Like, nobody thought I would be a fitness instructor, right? I didn't even know that's what I wanted to be. And now look, you know what I mean? So it's those people, and it goes back to the belief and possibility. People just need somebody that's rooting for them, that believes in them, And if somebody continually, if you're showing up for them and they show up for you and they respond to you, and you have a connection, don't just every so often check in with them, see how they're doing. Some people's times are all different. Like I said, we're all going through different seasons. So not everybody's at the same place, but that lady that wants to be a coach underneath me, we had worked together back in like February of this year. And then another gal that I was so pissed, because this was when I was doing my phone calls and I would spend like an hour on the phone with people. And then they weren't like buying a challenge pack. And I, just thinking, like, just being real with it. I was like, oh my God, I wasted my Friday night talking to this person and they didn't even buy a challenge pack. Right. One of those people, she's been watching me and she's come back around and she's buying a challenge pack. And I was talking to her back in like February of this year. So just remember, just check in with people, believe in them and know that you're enough, that you are worthy of everything great. So I'm going to kind of keep this short and sweet, and then we can open up for questions. So last thing, share yourself. Oh, this is second to last thing. So sharing yourself, action steps to sharing and inviting. So these are my 3 tips. Social media consistency. Ask the people like Jamie, ask the people like Crystal, like me. Who else can I say? There's some other, my friends that are success partners. When you are consistent on social media and you open yourself up and you let people know, what are you up to? What are you doing? Are you walking? Like Harley said, like I didn't even know this. Harley goes and walks on the track, like at night for like an hour and a half, and she does sprints and she runs, and I had no idea she was doing that, right? That's something so simple and easy that you can be like, oh man, like, you know, talk about what going outside and running does for you, or how good you feel, or, you know, oh, this is what I'm eating, or, you know. But even more than that, people want to know you as a person, and they don't give a shit about health and fitness all the time, right? So, you know, talk about your family, talk about, you know, your hobbies. Just it feels really weird at first. I know, right? Because you're like, it's not my instinct to you know, take a picture of this right now and post it on Facebook. But that's being consistent and sharing how the new you compares to the old you will give people a glimpse into what's possible. And that's the reoccurring theme. And I think that's the biggest takeaway that I would love for you to have from this call, is that you're in the business of possibility and belief. And so every time that I'm vulnerable and I share things about my past, I get such a really warm response from people. Even if they don't comment, I know people see it, you know? Like, and even if maybe you don't really feel like you've come that far yet, you have, number one. But you can also give people a glimpse on what you're working towards. If you're working towards being more healthy, if you're working towards being more positive, you know, people want to know your journey. Sometimes, and top coaches will tell you this, like $1 million earner in Beachbody, you know, is overwhelming to someone new, because they're like, I can't do that. That's too much. I can't. But that's why I fell in love with Amy Silverman, because I saw her kind of at the beginning, and I watched her for 2 years go from being kind of like where I'm at, you know, barely making it paycheck to paycheck as a full-time Beachbody coach, to her now living in Puerto Rico, making, you know, $10,000 or more per week with Beachbody, you know, like on track to be a millionaire by the, you know, and she's 30, you know. So, but I don't think I would have found her as inspiring as, you know, I mean, I think I still would have found her inspiring if I would have started watching her now, but I found her inspiring because I saw her at the start. So just keep that in mind. Secondly, invest your time into others, go deep. I think I'm just reiterating what we talked about. Ask questions, be a kid, you know, be a nosy kid, investigate, you know, like, why? Just keep asking why. And when you get likes on social media, so this ties into the first action step, when you start posting more and people are liking your stuff, and it's maybe somebody you haven't talked to in a really long time, message them, see how they're doing. Be like, man, thank you so much for liking my photo. Like, oh my gosh, it's so cool to see your name. Like, what have you been up to? And just start a normal conversation. And you don't have to be like, hey, what are you up to? Do you want to join my challenge group? It's only $160 this month, and you get Shakeology, and you get a discounted fitness program, and I could be your free accountability coach, and we do fun prizes, and we have post selfies, and, you know, you can lose weight and win money. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that just, people aren't gravitating towards that. Lastly, an action step is start setting goals for yourself and tell us as a team, or, you know, whoever's your success partner, and stay accountable. You know, like, some of you have met Camilla. You might see her name pop up on our group. She occasionally says stuff in our group, but Camilla Hunt is my success partner, as well as Ruthie Desert. And, you know, it's just somebody that is rooting for you. You know, we're on the same team. And so they're going to understand your struggles, and they're going to understand, you know, when you're frustrated and, you know, you're trying to hit some goals, and, you know, but if you don't have anything that you're working towards, you're just going to be lost, right? Like, if you don't have like a set intention of like me and Jay were talking, and she, you know, said, I am like 15 pounds away from my goal weight that I, you know, for my weight loss. And she's like, all right, I lost 5. Now I just have another 10 to go. She knows where she's going, right? And so when she hits that magical number, she's going to have something, dude, it happens, right? For those of you that set goals and achieve them, you feel this rush of endorphins. Like, I thought I was going to hyperventilate tonight right before this call, because I'm literally 1 challenge pack away from my goal for this week. And it feels so good to set a goal and to hit it. believe me though, I've set tons of goals and not even come close to hitting them, but you've got to take that action step and challenge yourself, because you can do it. You can totally do it. So last thing that I'm going to leave you with, and this was from another speaker, Todd Durkin, and it's something that maybe I'll even post this in the group so that you can have this as a file, because I don't want to spend too much more time, because I want to see your pretty faces, and I'm good at talking for an hour apparently. He had this concept of the fight. And so I want you to think about what are you fighting for? And this isn't just Beachbody related. You know what I mean? Like, what are your big life goals? And that's a part of this opportunity that if you're not familiar with that, that is this is my favorite part of being a Beachbody coach, is I get to dream. I get to be alive, like most people. I was like in tears talking to one of my past challengers because she's so stressed out, she's fallen off. And she's like, my job's so stressful. I'm having to go to the doctor because I'm tired all the time. I need to figure out what's wrong with me. And she's like, me and my husband are talking about me quitting my job and getting a different one. And, but I don't know what I want to do because we need the money and blah, 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 blah. And I go, Jess, what would you do if you could do anything? Like if you could do anything for money, like if you could do anything for your job, and I waved a magic wand, what would you do? And she goes, I just never thought that's an option. I've never thought of that as an option, so I have no idea. That's so sad, right? It's like we have these, I call them like, I think of our spirits and our souls and our drive and our uniqueness as like a flashlight, right? When you're a kid, it's like you got freaking like high beams on. Anything's possible. You feel so good about your potential. You feel so good about your life. In fact, you're like, I'm going to be an astronaut. I'm going to be a president, right? When you're a kid, there are no limits. And as we get older, your parents, society, friends, colleagues, experiences start slowly dimming your bright light. Oh no, you can't do that. That's impossible. And you just, and it just gets dimmer and dimmer and dimmer. And whether or not you've gone to college or school or whatever, you get to a point in your life where you've got to pay bills, right? We all live in the same world. You got rent, you got groceries, utilities, living costs. We're all human. You need money to live. And so you start compromising your big dreams because you've got to make ends meet. Some of you are mothers, so you've got to provide for your family, right? Or you've seen time and time again fathers that are absent from their kids' lives because they've got to pay the bills, right? And so you get to a point where your flashlight is basically flickering, where, and this might be, and I'm not a mom, so I'm just guessing, just throwing something out and making shit up. But, a lot of the times from the moms that I've talked to, it's like you've got your flashlight shining bright, and then kind of dimming, and then it kind of flickers, right? Like right before you had a kid, it's like, there's possibility. I could do this, I could do that. And then you have your child, right? And depending where you are in your life, it's like, shit, well, I got to make money. Like I need to find a good job that's going to pay me well and have benefits because I have to be there for my kids. And so that big flashlight of possibility and hope and dreams and things that, if I gave you infinite amount of money, if you never had to worry about money again, that light that was inside you was off. And so many people are walking around with dead flashlights. I know it's a really weird analogy, right? But I hope that you understand what I mean. And so what we get to do is we get to dream again, and we get to help we get to help each other start to set goals, start to live a life by design. Because that's what leaders do, right? They have vision when no one else can see it. No one else can see it. I mean, my freaking husband can't even see it. But I see it, and I know where I'm going, and I know what I'm fighting for, right? So think about it. Like, what are you fighting for? What do you want to fight for? And then start affirming that you are blank, right? You are strong. You're confident. You're capable. You're not a quitter. You're a fighter. Whatever the first thing that comes to your mind, it could be a really long paragraph, right? Or just one word. But once you affirm that you are whatever you think you are, because of that, you must continue to do the following. And what does that mean to you? The next thing that you need to do is reject the lie that you are blank, right? What are you telling yourself to make yourself feel better about not fighting for whatever you want, whatever that number one was? What case have you convinced yourself that you can't do number one? And then once you, and mine were like a mile long, y'all. I could go on for days, but I won't. Once you understand what you're going to not let yourself, and you can call them excuses, but I like calling them lies because they're not true, right? You do have enough time. You do have enough resources. You are smart enough. You are strong. You are confident. You are influential. You know, you have everything at your disposal to be what you want to be. And so then you make a commitment. I will not let go or stop praying until what? Until what? And then lastly, this is where it comes full circle. And by doing so, and by having that vision and never letting go of it and seeing it, because this Todd Durkin guy was talking about, I mean, he's like this really, I can't tell you what he does because I came to the Master Trainer Retreat late. But he's a very successful man, and he owns a studio or something like that. And he's like, I remember I was sitting in my studio, and nobody was there. But he's like, I could see in my head the hustle and bustle, and I could see the people, you know, working out and smiling and walking into the establishment, and he could see all of it. And, oh God, don't cry. Oh my God. Okay. I'm going to choke it back. Cause, you know, for me, it's like, I can see it. I see this vision of myself where, I get to accomplish my goals, where I'm not broke, where I can pay my bills, where I can buy myself a new car, where I can, travel and go see my friends and, not struggle. And I can see this vision so clearly. And I just have butterflies in my stomach every single day this month because I feel it. I feel it. I feel like I'm about to have a huge breakthrough and something amazing is going to happen. And I pray every day that it's to just continue to give me the strength and to let me break down the lies that I'm not organized, that I can't, oh my God, I'm sorry. I'm so glad you probably can't see me. But, you know, that I'm not organized, that I'm not consistent, that I'm lazy, that, you know, whatever, all those lies. And by doing so, I can see myself, like I see myself in that moment when I get to hear Jamie's name, or well, I don't get to hear your name on the damn national wake up call, but when I get to look at my back office and it says Jamie's ranked 2 diamond, I see when I, you know, just there's a bunch of things that I know that I will feel. I feel it already. And that's why I'm like crying. But those are things that I want you guys to think about. And I think it's a powerful exercise. And if there's an inkling in your mind, your body, and your soul that you're meant for something more, I really, really hope that if you've taken the time to listen to this or be on this call, that you understand that you and I are not different, and you're no different than the top coach in Beachbody or whatever, like whoever you're looking up to that you think that you are not cut from the same cloth, you are. And you just have to feel that conviction and feed it every single day. That's why personal development's the third vital behavior, because it's just like our fitness. If you stop working out for a month, you are not going to have the same cardiovascular strength or, resistance training. Like, go try to lift the same weight that you've been lifting right now in a month if you don't do anything, right? If you're not using it, you lose it. And same thing with our minds. If you're not consistently plugging into our team, if you're not listening to, audios on book or reading something positive or, making sure that you do an activity like this, that, you really have to sit there and stare at yourself in the mirror and realize that you only have one precious, spectacular, amazing, awesome life. And that, and for those of you that are older than me or, whatever, I'm sure you can agree with this youngin' that, like, I'm 27 now and I'm like, oh my God, how am I this age already? Like, I still feel like I'm 18. I'm like, where did the time go? I don't even know, right? And it just gets faster and faster and faster and faster. And you're like, holy crap, it's like 2016 now. So anyways, okay, so I'm going to stop the screen share, and I really hope that nobody's on this right now. No, because I'm embarrassed. But let me stop the share. Okay. All right, guys. So I'm going to cry off my dang eyelash. So yeah, that's my presentation. I'm trying not to do the ugly cry. So do you guys have any questions or